and welcome to my Gorilla Glue versus E6000 versus Glue Gun Challenge. Today I'm going to be doing a project that I've done before and it seems to be a fan favorite. So this is a picture frame that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, I believe, for $3.99 because it was on clearance. It was regularly like a $35 one. Anyways, so I picked it up and I took everything out of it, the glass and the cardboard and the backer and everything. You can see the fancy red sticker on the back that says it is, in fact, clearance item. And it didn't cost me hardly anything. So this is now I'm just going to take the glass and I'm going to set it inside the frame. And I wanted to do this so that you can understand how the different glues work. I grew up in a flower shop. I've been doing art most of my life, and I use all different kinds of products for different reasons. And it's important to know the differences between the glues and everything that they can do. So now I am pressing down the little metal pieces in the back of the frame that would normally hold the backing and the picture together. And I press those down all around the frame, and then of course anytime you're going to glue anything, make sure that you clean it really well and that you don't have any dust or anything on the surfaces. Now this is the back of the frame, and when I spin this over I clean the front as well, and because that's going to be the actual surface that I'm gluing everything to. Now for the frame itself, it wasn't this color. I put a coat of black Dixie Belle Caviar. Then I put a coat of Chalk Country, let's see, Country Road, I think it was, or maybe it was Country Flannel. It was Country Flannel. It was like a blue color. And then some Summer Wheat from Chalk Country as well, over the top, kind of dry brushed to give me that finish. Now here I'm just showing you, this is the E6000, and I just showed you I'm using a clear Gorilla Glue. And it doesn't foam or anything like that. It's just a clear Gorilla Glue. And then of course I've got my glue gun Gorilla Glue, and I've got regular glue sticks. But for today I'm using regular glue sticks in my glue gun. Please subscribe and share, and let me know that you enjoyed this video. So the first thing I'm going to do with my frame, because I don't want it being all wobbly and noisy, I'm putting glue down along the back side of the frame, right where the little levers are, the little things you poke down, I forget what they're called, to make sure that the frame stays in place. Normally you would do this if you were doing a window. They have a caulking type stuff, and the name escapes me, but that's what you would put around a window pane if you were doing that. So I'm just doing it with a glue gun, and glue guns are good for this because they are instant hold. They dry in minutes, and it's raised, so it basically covers and can fill in a good line. So if you're lacking in something or some part, you can fill it in. And I'm just showing you on this piece of paper that I have, it's covered in plastic, how the glue works when you set it on. Now the downsides of a glue gun is it does get a milky white color for the most part whenever it dries, and if it's in hot cold, it can pop off. So if you have something glued to a piece of glass, for instance, you don't necessarily want to use the glue gun other than the way that I used it, because I wouldn't glue something straight to the glass without having something else there, because it pops off. It might pop off with the different temperatures or from being moved or whatever, and I'll show you that later in the video. So I could show you it was drying pretty quickly. And the other downside of a glue gun is that it creates what we call spider webs. So when you're pulling your glue gun away, there's little strings of glue that might go with it, and they kind of get all over the place. And it's not a big deal, they're dry, so it's not like they're going to be messy or anything. You just have to peel them off of everything like you would a spider web. Alright, so here is my Gorilla Glue, and I'm going to put a little bit sample on this paper as well. And I just wanted to show you some of the differences. I'll use the E6000 a little bit later. Now the Gorilla Glue is super thin and very runny. and very much like a consistency of, say, an Elmer's glue, like a normal school glue or something, but it's very thin, and you can rub it around with your fingers. But I do love using it because it does dry very clear, and it does have a stiff, hard hold. There's just some things that are a little different for it. So as soon as I get that all nice and tight, and so that the glass doesn't move inside, and it wouldn't have moved with just the little metal clips holding it down, but the glue actually makes it quiet and makes it steady, and I don't have to worry about it. So I just filled in some of the little spots that might have been left, and then flip it over to add in some of our shells. So I'm about to start with some of the different methods, different things that I use on this project. Of course, there is our glues that we're going to be testing and using, and the different types. And these are glass, they're called glass gems, or vase fillers, or glass beads, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of different kinds from a lot of different places. You can get a bunch of them at the Dollar Tree. I think the sea glass I got from Walmart. And let's see, I got that blue glass pieces, and some of the other pieces I actually got from PetSmart because they had it for aquariums. You see the pretty cobalt blue glass, and it's not the plastic stuff, it's actual glass. And so that came from the aquarium section at PetSmart. Then I got at the Dollar Tree, you see those pretty beads, glass beads right there. They look the same as the stuff from PetSmart, but they were $1, and the stuff from PetSmart was like $4 or $5. And same as this, the little sea glass that I have here, and you see the one on the with the two colors came from the dollar store, and the other color actually came from Michael's as a vase filler. Then I found at Big Lots a bag of shells. They call them landscape shells. So I was toying around with the landscape shells. In addition to that, I used a few things that I'd gotten from Michael's, and these are just part of my regular stash of things. And I had the like mirror shards and glass shards that came from Michael's as vase filler, so it was in the floral section. And this is some black sand that I stole from my daughter's aquarium. So these are the shells. A lot of these shells, I do actually have a whole bunch that I picked when I was at Honeymoon Island, Florida. So I go down there once or twice a year and go pick shells and then mail them back to myself. So now I have the E6000, and I just cut the cap on it. You know, you do it in there. And so I'm going to start to glue some of my larger shells to the glass. And the thing about E6000 as compared to Gorilla Glue, E6000 is very goopy, and it's a full-bodied glue. It's got a lot of goop to it, and it's good for things like this shell here is cut in half, so it has little thin lines to hold the glue. So having a good, nice, thick, goopy glue is just fine. And E6000 and Gorilla Glue work about the same. They work extremely well for glass. They work very good on just about any projects that I have. I could use, like I said, I'm trying to use the glue gun a little bit here, and I'm going to show you a little bit about this. And you'll see in just a minute, I slow it way on down because I was using the glue gun, and if it's been on for a while, it gets very hot. So kids, do not try this at home. You can see I'm putting glue on this little shell here, and I slowed it way, way down because I made a mistake during this process, and it was an extremely painful mistake. I accidentally tilted the shell while I was gluing it, and you'll see in just a second. When I did, of course, the glue landed on my thumb, and boy, oh boy, did it really, really hurt. So do be careful when you're using the glue gun because it can be quite painful. You know, I've been doing flowers for about 40 years, and I will tell you that I have been burnt. I have been burnt so many times that I shouldn't even have fingertips anymore. You can see right there is where I got burnt, and it was painful. So I thought I could, you know, go on through with it, you know, and just blow it off with my, you know, blow it off and then go on through. But it ended up, it was just way harder, you know, when it started to blister. So this is me garnering sympathy for burning my finger in my efforts to make you a beautiful glass window. Ouchie, there's my boo-boo. So I had to stop, go get some aloe, and then go get a Band-Aid to cover it up so that I wouldn't be touching it on anything anymore. Now the process that I'm doing, you can see as I'm putting the shells in different places that a lot of people will put hot glue, and then they will also put E6000 or Gorilla Glue in addition to it, so that it immediately holds, and then it holds permanently with the other glue. I don't really know how this works. I've not tried it myself, but I will tell you this. I do like to add in all of my glue, and I'm using mostly Gorilla Glue with a little bit of the E6000, and the E6000 cures faster than the Gorilla Glue. The Gorilla Glue, usually I want to wait overnight, and the E6000 a couple of hours, and the glue gun is usually only a couple of minutes. So here I'm taking the glue and I'm spreading it all over my glass, and it makes a super watery look, a watery effect, and it stays that way. So even though it's clear, it gives it this real water looking, and it's really pretty. I like it that way a lot. So I'm putting in my biggest shells first, and then I'm adding in the smaller glass gems and beads and all the goodies that I could possibly find. And as always, I end up with too many supplies and not enough space. So I just go a little bit at a time, adding all the different supplies. And so I'm putting in our beautiful blue gems and adding in some of the different, I added the black sand at the bottom of the frame, and I'm putting in some small shells and different things like that. Now, my Gorilla Glue, like I said, I really like the way that it sits on the glass. It's really good for doing this type of a mosaic if you want to. I've found it to be wonderful. And the E6000, I have glued like teacups to little platters and stuff, and you can glue candlesticks to plates and make bird baths and do all kinds of wonderful things with the E6000. So I just recently got the Gorilla Glue and started playing around with it, and I really do like the way it's done. Now when you're putting the small sea glass, which is actually called vase filler, when you're putting the small bits of sea glass and glass shards and stuff into there, make sure you press everything down into the glue really well, and that it's stuck there. I try to find the flattest edge that I can to put down on the glass, so that it has a lot of surface area to be able to hold the glue with. I loved this blue aquarium glass that I'd gotten from PetSmart. It was really awesome. And I find all my craft supplies in the oddest of places. I really, really do. I do a lot of thrift store shopping. I do a lot of different things. Please subscribe and share and like and comment and do all the things. I would really appreciate it. So if you like this, you can also find me on Facebook at Deonna AC. That's DEONNA AC. As well as, you know, of course, my YouTube channel has a lot of videos to look through, and I hope that you're enjoying this process while I'm explaining the different glues to you as well. And like I said, the E6000, now these are some mirrored glass shards, and I'm just making sure I poke them down in there, and you'll see at the end they're really, really pretty. So for the thin stuff, I put the E6000 on. For the other stuff that's got a good surface area, use the Gorilla Glue. And a glue gun in a pinch. I mean, because if you were doing this for a gift or something, a glue gun would work just fine. If you're not going to be going in and out, if you, let's say you're keeping it indoors as an indoor thing, this particular item I was going to be using in my bathroom, because I have a window in my bathroom and I wanted to hang it in the window. And I had done one previously, and when it hung in the window, it's really, really pretty. It looks like stained glass, and when you turn the lights on, it gives it a whole different look, because you can see the front, you can see all the shells, but when you have the light coming from behind it from outside, it's really clear and really like stained glass. It's real watery and pretty. So you can see where I glued that one shell down and it didn't really quite stay how I wanted it, so I put some Gorilla Glue up underneath it and behind it to make sure that it would stay where it was supposed to stay. And on this one, I just, I work in sections, because if you wait too long, it's not that the glue is dry, but it does start to get a little tacky and not be able to hold things as well. So I use the glue down there to kind of give me a pattern of where I want to put certain things. And then I go back and add more glue in and go ahead and if you were to forget to put the glue in the middle to make the watery look, you can always do that at the end. I've done it before. It just leaves a little clear like line along where you have your shells. So, but I went ahead and I wanted it all to be real watery. And so I put the glue down, smeared it out with my finger. Now here I'm just judging which rocks that I want to actually put into the picture. And this is the longest part of the whole process, is actually putting it down. Now in previous projects, I've gone through and I've laid out every single shell before I got into the gluing situation. This one I did not. I kind of winged it a little bit. But I did put out the big shells first and then work your way down to the smallest. Please if you like this, hit that like button for me. Thank you. And thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. So I will have a little bit more to do in this, and I'm adding my sea glass pieces. And you can see I'm kind of making kind of like a wave effect to the shells, like they're caught in the waves, and that was the look I was kind of going for. Because it's hard to get, my bathroom window is right by my back door, and it's really a little tough to have privacy, if you know what I mean. So I wanted something that kind of covered it up, but then I like the light, so I had to do that. I hope you're enjoying this process. And as always, I kind of turn the project around so that I can get a better perspective on how the project is going to look from different angles. If it looks good all directions, then you're doing it right. That's the way. If you're drawing something, turn it another direction and look at it. And if it looks like it's proportionate, then you're doing it right. So now I'm just kind of moving stuff out of the way as I get finished with one thing and move on to another. I move it all out of the way. And of course I forgot my beautiful cobalt blue beads, and I want to use those, the glass gems. So I had to make a spot for some of the cobalt blue because it was just too pretty. And I know how the sunlight will shine through. Subscribe, share, and thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you. So, like I said, the E6000 by now is pretty much set up on most of it. It's not 100%, it would still take a little longer, but it is pretty well set up. And of course the glue gun, it was all set. But the Gorilla Glue, and I'll show you in a minute, when Gorilla Glue is still very liquid. And another reason for putting the glue gun glue on the back of the frame was last time that I did this, I didn't do that. And even though I had glue all over the front of the frame, some of the glue actually slipped through the bottom and was on my table. And I didn't want that to happen again. So by putting basically the little glue dam around the back of the frame, you prevent that from happening as well. So now I'm adding in my light colored sea glass, a little bit more glue because some of the thinner spots have begun to set as far as the glue goes. I usually am very generous with the glue when I do these things because you want it to kind of sit in a puddle of it. So So I'm just making sure they're all down, and as long as the glue is workable, and that's another really great thing about both the E6000 and the Gorilla Glue, is you do have a long work time. Of course, the Gorilla Glue is much longer, and you know, you have a long work time, so you can work on this for several hours without really worrying that it's going to be absolutely permanent 100%. And so you can see I kind of stood it up and then laid it back down, and it, because I just did that area, it kind of moved, and I just squished it back into place. Stay tuned to the end of this for the final product pictures, because it's really neat how it looks in different lighting. I mean, this one here is in my studio, so the lighting is primarily for my vision, and my tank is actually talking to me right now. He's trying to tell me something, so I know he wants something, but he's gonna have to wait 5 minutes. So I hope that you subscribe to my video, and I hope you've enjoyed this as well. And Tank says hello. Tank is 126 pounds. He's a big boy. He's a mastiff. Oh, and there's the rest of them. Alright, and that will be my little Lefty. He's my rescue puppy during the quarantine. Somebody got rid of him, and he was a puppy, and he showed up at the animal control, so he came home with me. And he has been, oh my goodness, what have I done to myself? I just don't know. I just do not know. Alright, so I used my Gorilla Glue, used my E6000, used my regular glue gun, and all I had to do on this is wait overnight for it to dry. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and add my magic, because everything that I do has to have magic. It either has to glow in the dark somewhere, some way, or have the extra fine iridescent glitter, which, by the way, is also a great substitute for like sand. It makes a little, it's fantastic with sand. It especially looks really good with if you're doing a shell Christmas ornament or something and you use this extra fine glitter. It looks fabulous. I mean, it really, really does. And it's just iridescent. It's not white or anything. It's just a clear iridescent. So when the light comes through, it doesn't really show at all. The only time it shows is when you have the lights on in the bathroom or in the room at night, and that's when you see it sparkle. The rest of the time the light's coming through the back of it, and because it's clear iridescent, it really doesn't sparkle much. You don't see it during the day, so it's kind of handy. So now all I had to do was wait overnight, wait for it to dry, wait for it to be perfect. If I wanted to shift things around, most of the things on here, except for maybe the bigger shells, I could move around still. So I have to make sure that I have moved everything out of the way because I had way too many materials. Please visit me on Facebook at Deanna AC and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos in the future. So you can see what it looks like. And I just love the way these come out. And the glue, the way it looks like water is just amazing to me. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope that you enjoyed this E6000 versus Gorilla Glue versus the glue gun challenge. And you can see the final product here. This is actually sitting outside on my arbor, and I do have many of them that I leave outside year round, and they last for a good long time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Hi. Did you click that subscribe button and the notification bell? Well, if you don't hit that notification bell, you will miss out on our Thursday videos. So please go ahead, click it, and you'll be able to watch our videos that are coming up.